The WNBA is expanding to Detroit and to Cleveland in the subsequent years, and there's a third city that I can't think of, but she took a shot at Detroit and Cleveland and actually called Cleveland Cincinnati, but she meant Cleveland. And she's once again, to me, making it all about the players. But she got asked, and she doesn't like where the WNBA is expanding. Let's play the clip.
NBA side, because it is helpful. It's way more helpful. You just get more perks, more opportunities, and so I get that aspect. But I also think that you want to listen to your players too. Like, where do they want to play? Where are they going to get excited to play and draw fans? And I do think that Miami would have been a great one. Like, everyone loves Florida. Nashville is an amazing city. Kansas City, amazing opportunity. There's a huge arena downtown that no one's using, and I think that the Women's Soccer League is showing that, like, people draw, and so I'm not so sure what the thought process is there. But at the end of the day, you also want to make sure that you're not expanding our league too fast. I think that's also another thing, that you don't want teams to totally dominate and then have teams that aren't. And so I just think that it's kind of a hard decision-making situation. But man, I don't know how excited people are to be going to Detroit or Cincinnati.
So she says Cincinnati, she means Cleveland. This is my problem with athletes. I'm just telling you, everything is about them. And this is my problem, I think, with just modern American culture. Everything's about them. But when it comes to sports, I'm just telling you, the fan is the last person any of these people think about. And don't you understand? We'd love to go play in Miami. All the players love Miami. And we'd love to be in Nashville and on Broadway and, listen to the country music. And maybe we'd run into Morgan Wallen. But, Cleveland and Detroit, there's no depth. And I know she's just 27, 28. She's a smoke show. Men are never honest with her. I know I wouldn't be honest with her. And I'm only taking this risk right now being honest with her because I'm hoping she doesn't see this. But that's what happens. Beautiful women and athletic people never get told no, and it distorts reality for them, and it causes arrested development.
So one of the things we have committed to is that each player is now their own little brand. When I played professional basketball, I would tell people often that the NBA was a lot more sterile than I realized, because the guys didn't hang out. Like, I read these biographies of baseball players growing up from the 1920s and 30s and love that idea of you're on the train, you're having dinner in Cleveland together, and afterwards you're going out and chasing the smoke shows who are 27 or 28. When I got to the NBA, I realized it was much more antiseptic, because each player was starting to understand that they were a brand. They were their own thing. And I think we have to, as fans or denizens of the internet, take some responsibility where we want so much access to them. We want them to have Instagram pages, but if we do that,
but anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, maybe you and I don't, but there is this push-pull where does that basketball player really need to be asked that question? But we are, in a way, culturally asking her to create so much content all the time that she has to say something. Now, again, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but we also have to reckon with it's just different than it was in 1992, when there were only a few networks talking about sports. We expect everybody to have their own little brand and their own little take on every single thing. So then they're probably going to say some stuff that we don't particularly appreciate.
I think you raise a legitimate point, but she has the opportunity to say, that's above my pay grade. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of decisions and factors when you do expansion to any league. What ownership group is most passionate? Where's your best chance of selling tickets? What city, is going to embrace this? And it just doesn't come. Well, we should have asked the players where they want to live, because, man, they would really love to be on South Beach in a bikini with their rear end out. I know that's what I would love to do. This is what Sophie Cunningham is thinking. But
I would love for your bottom to be out in Miami also, Jason. That sounds delightful.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And anyway, Steve, your thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple things here. I think the people of Cincinnati are very relieved she misspoke. Second of all, I'm going to say this again. The whole culture and the ecosystem of the WNBA is the most unlikable of any sport I've seen in America. This is another example why. First of all, Miss Cunningham, the reality is this. No one is forcing you to play there. You're going on a road trip. These are business trips is what they are. No one's forcing you to play in that city and be there for 5-6 months. We all go through work assignments, and we have to go to places we don't like, and you're in and you're out, and you're a professional. These women talk about the growth of the game, expanding the game, and having a bigger reach with our league, and this is how they react. And by the way, I want to say something about the South Florida sports culture, being a diehard Miami Hurricane fan. If Miami's not playing for a national championship or a big game, which has been the case for about 20 years, unless they're playing Florida State or one of the other signature schools, nobody really goes. It's a punchline in college football that we accept because, quite frankly, it's true. And Ms. Cunningham, with all due respect, unless you're playing at Caitlin Clark, your games will be even less attended than Miami's games against Wake Forest that begin at noon. They don't want you. You may think it's great for you to be in South Beach and have your fun. The problem is you'd have 15 people there. That is the reality. Again, most athletes, and especially these ladies who have been subsidized for about, 30 years, they have an incredible sense of entitlement with not an ounce of obligation. It's sad and it is disgusting to watch.
Steve, you make an excellent point. An excellent point. And I hope I'm just not repeating what you said, but go to Detroit. It's cold during the winter, and I gotta know they play in May, but there's a lot less entertainment competition in Detroit. In South Florida, where she'd love to be and post it up and play for that Miami team, you can go out every day just to the beach and sunshine. You got nightclubs everywhere. There's a lot of entertainment options, and people would be less likely, I need to go watch this WNBA game and watch them miss a bunch of layups in Miami, whereas in Detroit, where there's less to do, they're more, anyway, there's just a lot of issues
Jason,
and thoughts that she hasn't thought about. Yep.
During the Heatles, which was the Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh era, it was kind of like this thing where nobody would show up on time. And I think there's traffic just like there is in LA. But if you watch, even during the heyday of that run, which was 4 years, that if you watch the first quarter of those games in Miami, there were a lot of empty seats. People have a very casual attitude towards sports. It's a big event city. It's a lot like LA. Look at the baseball team, the Marlins. They literally have hundreds of people going. This is Major League Baseball. And if you watch, and I have an old line, that place is so empty, you could throw hand grenades into the stands. Nobody would get hurt. So her thing is, we'd love to be in Miami. Right. They don't want you. That is the reality. And Paul, I know you must have gone through this as an athlete. When you look at your schedule, there must have been cities, all of your guys we're coming to Atlanta, coming to LA, New York. But there are other cities you're like, Indiana, Milwaukee. Guess what, though? That's part of the deal of a league. That is what you signed up for.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.